with
Yeah,
your
please.
permission. So, dear participants, I welcome you all to the second session of the fourth day of this AICTE Training and Learning Academy sponsored 5 days online FDP, the advanced version of it on emerging financial management and accounting techniques. Now, I feel very proud to present in front of all of you Professor Ahindra Chakrabarti, our Ahindra sir. I would love to give a very brief introduction of sir. He hardly needs any introduction. Professor Ahindra Chakrabarti is presently a professor of Great Lakes, the B School in Gurgaon. He joined as a professor at Great Lakes on 1st of October 2013, prior to which he was director at International Management Institute, IMI Kolkata, an institution which is set up by the Sanjeev Goenka-led RPSG group. Now, prior to that, he had taught at Management Development Institute, MDI, between 1978 and 1996. Just imagine a huge stretch. And at International Management Institute, IMI New Delhi, between 1996 and 2010. He has worked as a director of the Institute of Integrated Learning and Management, IILM New Delhi, from 2000 to 2002, and as the Director General of Fortune Institute of International Business from 2006 to 2008. Professor Chakrabarti holds a master's degree in commerce from the University of Burdwan, that is the host university of this FDP, and LLB from the University of Delhi. He completed his PhD from the University of Burdwan, the Department of Commerce to be specific. His area of expertise is financial and management accounting, cost management, infrastructure finance with special focus on energy sector, investment banking and commercial banking. Sir has a number of research publications to his credit and has handled consulting assignments of DFID, European Commission, ILO and World Bank. Sir has considerable experience in designing and delivering management development programs for government departments and corporate sector. He has served as a member task force of the MOU Committee of Government of India and was independent director of Western Coalfields Limited, a mini Ratna PSU of the Government of India. Presently, sir is serving as member expert committee of MOUs of the Department of Public Enterprises, Government of India. Now, I can continue for hours and that we will lose the time. So I restrict myself over here and present in front of all of you, Professor Ahindra Chakrabarti. Sir, over to you. Sir, you need to unmute yourself.
Yeah. Is my voice audible?
Clearly, sir. Clearly audible.
Yeah. So let me submit in the very beginning. I'm not here to teach. I'm here to share my experience on teaching and writing on merger acquisition. And I think that the way I see the subject, I will give a presentation. I will discuss some short cases and I will interact with you the way I think the merger scenario is emerging in India. So just to make a beginning on this subject, let me start with a small write-up. I'm sharing it here. See, if you look at, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
it is
sir.
visible.
Yeah. So see, this is Bharti Airtel company, which was the, you can say, the monarch of the telecommunication and mobile phone in this country, and was leading the Indian mobile industry in those days. And in 2010 or so, when there was a tremendous fight going on in the mobile with Reliance trying to steal the show, and Reliance introduced a phone as well as the service taken together, delivering the phone. Airtel had to grow. So Airtel, what they did, they acquired a company known as Zain. Zain was a Kuwait-based company having business in 18 different countries of the Africa and Middle East. Now, when this Zain was taken over, I prepared a note to teach merger acquisition in the class, and by reading the newspaper and the other related financial journals and trade journals, I could make out that there is possibly some problem for the Airtel in future waiting. So over a period of time, I was keeping a watch on the company and found that the company was not doing well. So in 2018, I wrote this case along with one of my colleagues. You can see the name of the colleague here in the case, Dr. Umashankar Venkatesh of my institute. And we come to our concern area is that whether this merger was successful. It took over the Zain and it was merged with the Airtel. It became an African business of the Airtel, and that was perhaps the Airtel's bad days started. So if you are able to see the screen, look at the certain numbers here. If you look at the numbers here, total customer base in 2007.
Sir, we can't see the screen, sorry.
You are not able to see the screen?
Yes, sir, we are unable, means either it is not shared or something.
Dipesh ji, it is visible at my end. हो सकता है आपके एंड में थोड़ा इंटरनेट इशू हो. You can reach it.
I can see Dr. Ahindra.
Oh, you pin it. You pin it. You go.
Yeah, you pin it. In fact, I am also able to see. You should
Because, sir, just to interfere, by mistake, somebody shared his screen. As a result of which the screen is not visible, I searched for his screen and just pinned it.
Okay. Yeah, it is visible now.
It is visible. Otherwise, sir will have to stop and reshare it once.
No, we'll do it.
Okay. Sir, please carry on. It is visible.
So, if you are able to see it now, see the interesting growth of telecommunication business of Airtel in India. Total customer. This is, you have to add 3 zeros here. Number in 3 zeros. You're looking at the screen, my cursor. So at that time, 2007, it was 39 crore to round. Sorry, 3 crore 90 lakhs. 3 crore 90 lakhs was 2007, right? Over this period, 2007 to 2016, the number increased to 35.74 crore. So 3.9 crore to 3.9 crore to 35.74 crore companies business grew. And it was strongly dominated by mobile services, 3.71 crore to 34.20 crore. Are you able to see the numbers?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Airtel's telephone services growing and the customer base. So this is the physical numbers, right? Now I bring you to the financial numbers. If you look at the financial numbers, this is in millions. Still today, Bharti Airtel publishes annual report in million figure. So Airtel had at that point of time, 2007, 18,420 crore. This is in million. 18,420 crore, right? And it has a profit of 4,062 crore. much before taking over that Zain company. And net debt was 4,286 crore. So these are the three important numbers for our consideration here. Airtel took over Zain and the company grew in terms of revenue. It took over in 2010, and 2010 it reports that the number increasing from 18,000 to 41,000 to 59,000, and then it is going to 68,000 to 76,000, 85,000, 92,000 to 96,000 crore is the revenue. And profit after tax was 4,062. It increased till 2010. After that, it started falling. So, till 2016, it was 5,484. And in 2007, 4,062, right? And net debt of the company, which was 4,286, started increasing, and when it took over Zain, its debt increased to 59,000, and finally it landed up to 83,000 crore debt. So you can say that debt has gone up by 20 times and revenue has gone up by 5 times. So this was the effect of Airtel taking over Zen. Now, while I was tracking this company's performance, I was also stunned to see another trend in this country in merger acquisition. The trend was, if you look at the 2006, 7, 8, 9 period, Tata Steel was also gone global. Tata Steel, not the Tata Group. Tata Group was already global, TCS and Tata Communication and all this. Tata Steel, which was a giant steel company in this country in the private sector, the pioneering one, had also had a desire to become a global player. And then it started taking over a few companies, you can say Thai Steel, Nat Steel, and finally it took over the Chorus. During that time, Birla Group also made an attempt to acquire Novelis, an aluminum company, and Birla Group's aluminum business was, Novelis will work as a upstream business. It was selling containers of the cans of Pepsi and Coke. So, and Birla was making aluminum ingot and composites in India. So they wanted to be in the big league of the value chain. So they acquired that. So this is the introduction of the story. Our topic is to talk about SEBI guidelines and the process of taking over an Indian company, the efforts, the systems, the synergies, the outcomes. Law is one part. Merger acquisition is primarily a business for growth. So what happens here is, why company tries to merge with another company, there is a reason for it. So let me try here. So what we are saying here, that strategic objectives or financial objectives. So what happens here? Two companies are brought closer to each other. They may be in the similar business, they may not be in the similar business, they may be similar or disparate, culture may be different, the values may be different, and the how the organization gets integrated decides the success of the merger. Now, if you are keeping track of the telecommunication industry today, there is a fierce battle among the three players. One is Airtel, Vodafone Idea is the second, and the third is the Reliance Jio. And all these three players having their own strategy to craft out their niche and fighting out. But if you look at all the three companies taken together, the telecommunication industry, in terms of growth, it is good, but in terms of profitability, it is not very strong. So what happens? There are a variety of stakeholders in merging companies who have interest in the success of merger. Shareholders expect that if the company merges with another one, the transferor company, which is being merged or acquired, that shareholder expects return. If there is a share is bought back by the acquiring company, then the acquired company shareholders think they will gain. Either they will gain by getting cash or they will gain by getting shares in the new company, whatever is the proportion. In addition to that, employees are also a big stakeholder, community is also stakeholder, and government also gains money because of the transfer, etc. If there are tax leviable or all these tax laws. So merger sometimes can have a very competitive implications, because a merger can create a monopoly type situation. So that has to be also be regulated by the anti-monopoly organizations. In India, we say Competition Commission of India, and in globally it is perceived as antitrust. Scrutiny is done by the antitrust organizations. So the question will come to any professors, researcher, students of merger. Executives do not think that way, but professors, researchers are always puzzled, anxious, inquisitive to see that many mergers has not worked, but still people go on for acquiring company, and still people go on for acquisition and merger. Okay, so we have used a new word here, merger and acquisition. Are these two words same? That question will come to our mind. Is merger and acquisition is same? In case of acquisition, I take over a company. I may not merge with my company. So I can have acquiring a company, but the company can separately exist and operate, but it will be at my control. So acquisition. Merger is one company is diluted and the acquired company enters into the system of the acquiring company. How to stop it? Stop presentation. So what happens? I can take over a company, I can have a control over the company, but I may not merge and dilute with my company. That company separately exists. A very interesting case in the last 2-3 years was much talked in the world of merger in India, and both the companies by their own stature is very known in this country. One is Larsen Toubro. Larsen Toubro acquired a software company, software consulting and learning company is Mindtree. So you can look at Mindtree exists as a separate company. Larsen Toubro has not merged it with itself. So it has been acquired and it is being controlled. So when you acquire more than 50% share, it is known your subsidiary, but subsidiary can operate separately. So thereby we used a word merger and acquisition. There is another word. Another word is a takeover. So Mr. Ritesh Kumar ji, I was just giving the example. Larsen Toubro has acquired 61% shares of the Mindtree. Mindtree remains a separate company. Mindtree's chairman and Larsen Toubro's emeritus chairman is the same. Mindtree exists as a separate body. It has not been put inside the Larsen and Toubro. So it is a acquisition done by Larsen Toubro. Right? Give me a minute, just a minute. I need a minute. Huh?
Sure, sir.
Yeah, I got it. Now you see here in the screen,
Yes, sir. The screen is getting presented. Yeah.
yeah, you see this is Mindtree. Can you read this? Mindtree, a Larsen Toubro group company.
Yes, sir. We can visit. It is visible.
It has not been merged into Larsen Toubro. It's a Mindtree, remains separately, acquired by Larsen Toubro. So it is the subsidiary of the Larsen Toubro. So if you look at this document, inside this document, you will find the Larsen Toubro's chairman's pictures and Now you see that, read here. This is a company name is Mindtree, right? So they are talking about Larsen Toubro group, right? So this is the difference between acquisition and merger. I have acquired, not merged with the company. Okay. Now, this acquisition can be a friendly acquisition. It can be a hostile acquisition. In friendly acquisition, what happens? In friendly acquisition, what happens? Let us look at Larsen Toubro Mindtree. Larsen Toubro company feels that as an engineering giant, I am doing well, but I am not able to take the advantage of the technology and the opportunity coming to the technological companies today, especially information technology companies today. So what they were thinking, that if we can have a good technology company with us, then we have certain companies, those who are doing technological work, that company, if we can acquire, can provide leadership and guidance to my existing subsidiaries, which is in the areas of technology. So can I target that company and bring that company, and with the help of that company, we can build our other companies stronger. No, Dr. Saab, it is like this. So now Larsen Toubro and Mindtree, if you look at, Larsen Toubro wanted to acquire Mindtree. Mindtree was denying it. So Larsen Toubro forcefully acquired Mindtree. Forcefully. This is known as hostile acquisition. If Mindtree would have said, yes, you are interested to buy us, we will be happy to give our company to you. Will how many shares you want to take? So Larsen Toubro says, I want to take 60% of your share. I will pay to your shareholders, and your board should take a resolution, and your board should say, yes, we will join Larsen Toubro and will remain your subsidiary. It would have been a friendly acquisition. In case of Larsen Toubro, I will come to the bigger story slightly later. In case of Larsen Toubro, it was a hostile takeover. Mindtree was fighting tooth and nail so that Larsen Toubro cannot buy them or cannot acquire them. But finally, it failed. We come to this slightly later. Dr. Saab, could I make it clear?
Yes, sir, it is okay.
Yeah.
Fine, sir.
So this is where is the hostile and the friendly. Now we go to the next part of the PPT.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah. So one of the most puzzling aspects of the merger, as I said, as a researcher, as a professor, you have always question in the mind that that the mergers and acquisitions do not create value for the stakeholders and in fact destroy value. If so, given the stupendous scale of investment that mergers represent and the losses to stakeholders, including possible welfare losses to the community as a whole, we need a serious investigation of the reasons for failure. In some cases, the feverish atmosphere, the inexorable momentum and thrill of the chase of a hostile bid may drive managers to foolish excess in bid premium they pay. What is the meaning of this word? See what happened in 2006, 7, 8, the period. Remember, during that period, you remember during that period, very interesting, 2007, 8, 9, if you look at the rupee to dollar relationship was all-time low. Just before the meltdown, the dollar to rupee was some 39.50, 39.60, 39.70 is the relationship. Now, during that period, what happened is Tata Steel as well as Novelis, they had a feverish tendency for taking over. Why it happened? You have to look at the Indian industry's prestige and honor during this period globally. After Y2K, Indian software industry was adored worldwide, and it started getting huge business and money in terms of foreign exchange earnings, that the so-called companies, famous software companies, not so-called, famous software companies, TCS, Wipro, Infosys, Calcutta-based RS Software, all these companies were making good money, and they were getting, a prestige. So that affected the minds of the some of the Indian businessmen, and they thought that to become a global player, we must go for a global acquisition. So Tata Steel went for a global acquisition. Tata acquired Chorus, and in this Chorus, Mr. Tata paid quite a huge money. The deal was 608 pence per share of Chorus acquired by Tata Steel. The media was saying that Mr. Tata has paid high value for the Chorus acquired, and in that segment of steel, a Brazilian company was competing with Tata's for bidding for Chorus, and finally they left. So Mr. Tata paid huge money. So the media asked Mr. Tata that you have paid huge money. So Mr. Tata says, I had to pay huge money because I have to get a control premium. I had to acquire that company fully. So I paid it more. Exactly in the same way, Mr. Birla, when he took over the Novelis, he had also acquired Novelis, and with a control premium, much higher price than it was expected. So the issue comes, as I showed in the PPT, that companies are in a mood to acquire. Price is not a criteria. Companies believe, and the top man believe, that it is important for us to acquire. So we'll touch a bit on what happened into those two companies. Builders is not ready here, but Tata company's story is ready here. I'll just show you a page of the Tata Steel. Take a look at that. I wrote a case on Tata Steel, and it was published in Case Center of Europe. So I will show you that. Just see the effect of buying Tata Steel and how it has not given gain to the shareholders. When the company buys another company, shareholders expect they will get return, but shareholders really did not get it. Give me a minute. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, Professor. Yes.
So this
Yes.
is Tata Steel. Tata Steel wanted to grow globally. So what it did, look at certain numbers, because you're all number-oriented people. So you don't need to be reading at the text, but the number will give you the convincing ideas. Now you see that this is Tata Steel's profit and loss account. This is Tata Steel's profit and loss account. I am enlarging it. Look at the numbers. So Tata Steel buys here. This is in billion, right? Billion. So 2008 January 31st Tata acquires. So 2008 March annual report will show the revenue. You can see the revenue, how it has grown, right? 4 times, right? 4 times or 5 times? 5 times. Because Coras was the fifth largest steel company in the world at that point of time. So Tata Steel acquires, its revenue goes big way, and then it stays there. Now your 2009 is your global melting pit down, 2008-9, and Coras is in Europe. So the European demand of this steel had fallen. Only Indian domestic market was maintained well. So European steel demand fallen, so Tata got affected. And you will also remember 2008 was Chinese Olympics. So whatever steel was to be purchased by the China, which was 50% of the world demand between 2004 to 2008, China consumed. After that, the demand saturated. So Tata Steel, this is the revenue up to 2016, right? So thereby, if you remove the zeros, that will be 1,000 crore. So it will be 1,40,562 crores. It is in billion. But look at how Tata Steel net profit has worked. After acquisition, when the company acquired, the net profit goes from 41 billion to 123 billion, because you have got a new company and they're doing well. Then what happens? That profit started falling. Then there's a loss. Then there is a profit again, loss, profit, loss, up to 2016. It was a bad patch for the Tata Steel. But look at, when Tata acquired Coras, Tata had borrowed money. And when it had borrowed money, Tata used to pay 634 crore is interest prior to takeover, 6.34 billion. And the interest responsibility gradually grew, and it reached to some 4,848, 4,337, 3,968, and 4,129. So Tata Steel effect was that the merger did not help them from 2008 to 2016. Whatever price you see today, it is you see because Tata has expanded its Odisha steel plant, and more production taking place, and Indian steel consumption has also gone up. Now the effect of this acquisition and merger, it was a merger. See on the stock prices. Tata, when it acquired 2008, stock price was all-time high. This was 782 or so, this zone, right? Then it increased also a bit. Then it fell down, global meltdown. It never came back. Up to 2016, it remains this way. The question comes now in the mind that if it takes so much of time for a company to come back to normalcy, the question shown in the PPT, what we say is that so it's in some cases the feverish atmosphere In some cases, the feverish atmosphere, the inexorable momentum and thrill of the chase of hostile bid may drive managers to foolish excess in the bid premium they pay. And Tata paid huge premium here, right? Why this is important for us to know? Because you are all professors. You are building and developing students. So the facts should be brought to them. How they conclude is up to the students. There are reasons for failure. The causes of failure may in other cases stem from the fragmented perspective that managers and other players in the acquisition game have of the MA process. It's a challenge. Challenges mean both threats and opportunities. Interestingly, if I show you a portion of the case, the company which was bought by the Tata Group, actually the foreign bankers convinced the Tata Group, and that's how they write in their own report. You can see that. Before we go to that, what was the British space press's reaction? Prior to takeover, Sir Anthony Bamford, one of the Britain's leading industrialists, warned that the takeover of Coras by India's Tata Steel will damage Britain's manufacturing industry. Coras, whose shares were trading at just 19 pence only 4 years ago, will change hands for a price unimaginable as recently as October, when Tata agreed a deal with Coras with 455 pence a share. And the final price Tata Steel agreed was 608 pence. A share led to a valuation of 6.2 billion. And the whole deal was actually brokered, or you can say sold to the Tata Group by ABN AMRO. You can see here, it is the ABN AMRO and was brokered by ABN AMRO. The deal was closed in January 7 when the company's yearly production was 5.3 million tons. So ABN AMRO could explain to Tata Group that buying this Coras will be good for you. So point 2 you want to drive at here is what motivates these companies to acquire. We have seen these 3 or 2 old cases. One is technological change. There is a deregulation, telecommunication industry, synergy, economies of scale and scope. Scale, we understand what is that, bigness, huge. Scope is when you deliver at a faster rate. Cross-selling, you acquire a company, and in that company's or to that company's customer, you sell your product. It very often happens in case of bank and insurance. You have seen that in India, ICICI has a bank as well as insurance. ICICI Insurance, Lombard, and ICICI Bank. Diversification related and unrelated. So Larsen Toubro is a engineering giant, took over a software company, basically to strengthen their own software company. Financial consideration, the acquired believes target is undervalued. Then booming stock market and falling interest rate. then market power, and then ego or hubris. Some of the industry bosses feel that what I have said is final. So that's the hubris. There is a Hindi movie. There is a Hindi movie in which Amitabh Bachchan plays the role of a very senior man in the home. And then very often he used to say that I have said the final thing. That's the final. Keh diya na. So that's the final. That's the hubris. I need to acquire this company, come what may. And that's how companies justify paying control premium. So we now look at the legal framework in this country. After talking a bit on this, the last part of the PPT, I will just show this we talked about. So there are different waves of merger. In US, it happened in the 90s and in the 20 beginning. In India, very interestingly, especially in the Kolkata city, there were two gentlemen, those who operated very strongly, and these two gentlemen has created virtually a big empire by acquisition only. One is Sri Ramaprasad Goenka, known as RPG, and another was Mr. Manu Chabaria. So they joined together, and in many cases they have acquired companies, and those companies are doing extremely well. If you look at the Mr. Goenka, he was known as a takeover tycoon. During his time, he took over KET International, C8 Tires, Malaya Monorama, all these companies he acquired, and extremely doing well. And Mr. Manu Chabaria and Mr. Ramaprasad Goenka took over Dunlop, and finally there is a differences. Then Manu Chabaria took it over, and then Dunlop in any case is not doing a good job in Kolkata. So there are some similarities. Earlier used to be during the periods of high economic growth, low interest rate, and rising stock market. That was some focus. And these days the focus is more of internet, industry focus, and then type of transaction. So horizontal, vertical, conglomerate, strategic, financial, right? Now in the US, a pattern has to be understood, because between 2003 and 2007, just the last year of before the meltdown, there was a merger boom was going on. The first reason identified is low interest rates. Even US, the interest rate was negative for some time. So risk aversion and increasing subprime mortgage lending, leverage buyout financing. So all these things, investment banks did lot of packaging and repackaging, and there is a lenders were there. So there is a huge appetite for return. So high yield bonds were sold. So this is how the US pattern, and investment bank and hedge funds lend monies to acquire companies. So when money is cheap, there is a tendency comes to acquire companies. So this is what we talked, that strategic realignment, synergy, diversification, financial consideration. So we stop here, and we now look at the SEBI takeover code. Some idea. In India, if somebody wants to take over a company, then how it should go about. So we will not go to the definition. Yeah. See, there is a 1997, there is a code which was substantially improved over a period of time. And by 2011, SEBI takeover code came. Now, I stop sharing here this PPT. I take you to a document, very neatly in a sense, very structurally prepared in a Word document, not in PPT. There are reasons for it. The reasons for it because we all either will be teaching students or will be doing research. So I feel that we have a job to give more of detail part. In case of PPT, what happens? We give a presentation and give some talking. And in Word document, I give a document written, more detailed clause. So I will share that document now. So this is known as SEBI Substantial Acquisition and Share Takeover. Now, where the process begins. So let us look at a diagram here. A person or a company wants to take over another company. If it is acquiring 0%, 5%, and up to 24.99%, it has to only inform to the stock exchanges. It can acquire gradually. But the moment it crosses 24%, means it is reaching to 25%, then it has to make an offer, open offer. So this part we have to know. This helps us. The moment somebody wants to acquire share of another listed company, we are talking about listed company. The moment you are planning to take over more than 25%, then you have to make an open offer to acquire at least 26% of shares. Right? So you have to make an offer. How to make an offer? How do we make an offer? Let us look at a document here. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir, visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Now you see that this is open offer for acquisition up to 5 crores 13 lakh 25,371 fully paid up equity shares having a face value of 10 each of Mindtree Limited, representing 31% of the voting capital as defined below, from the shareholders as defined below of the target company by Larsen Toubro Limited. Larsen Toubro is acquirer here and Mindtree is a target company with an intention to acquire control of the target company pursuant to and in compliance with the regulation 3.1 and 4 read with the regulation 13.1 and 15.1 of the Securities Exchange Board of India substantial acquisition shares and takeovers regulation 211 as amended. See the language, right? So this is what known as public announcement. So the moment you say I want to take over 25% or you are taking over 25% or you are already holding some share and you want to acquire something which increases more than 25%, immediately you have to make a public announcement. Now the question arises, why public announcement? Public announcement is made because you are giving the opportunity to the target company shareholders to get out of the company shareholding if they feel that the new management I am not interested to work with, I must sell my shares and get out of it. So what should be the content in a public announcement? So you see that this public announcement is being issued by Axis Capital Limited and Citigroup Global Markets India Private Limited, together referred to as managers to the open offer, for and on behalf of the acquirer to the shareholders as defined below of the target company. Right? Now, they have, for the purpose of announcement, shareholder means all shareholders target company other than the acquirer, parties to SPA and persons deemed to be acting. So this part is legal. Now what is the offer size? Offer details, what it should contain. It should contain offer details, offer size, price. How much is the price? 980, right? And when you have a 980 and 5 crore 13 lakhs 25,371, if you multiply this by this, you will get a number which will be 5030 crores. Mode of payment, the offer price is payable in cash, right? With regulation 9(1)(a) and the terms, these are all given in SEBI regulation, and to be set out in detailed public statement and letter of offer, both which will be issued in accordance with the SEBI regulation. Okay, this open offer is mandatory offer made in compliance with the regulation 3.1 and 4. So we can see 1 minute. One minute. Yeah. Now, after the offer is made by Larsen Toubro, are you able to see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
After the offer is made, then Larsen Toubro has to publish, and this is the offer advertisement under Regulation 18(2) of the SEBI guidelines, and how it has been acquired, name of the acquirer and PAC. 1 minute. Now you please see. The name of the target company, Mindtree. Name of the acquirer, Larsen Toubro. Name of the manager, Axis Capital. Name of the register to the offer, link time, date Monday 17 June 2019, and then now how they have acquired shares. Offer price 980, actual this, average number of shares tendered in the offer, proposed document 5 crore 13 lakhs, 6 crore 11 lakhs, aggregate number of shares accepted is 5 crore 13 lakhs, size of the offer price and all this. So shares acquired by of share purchase agreement, and then shares acquired by of market purchase, shares acquired by of offer number, shares acquired after the detailed public statement, and then you can see that what is the total number of offers they have acquired. This is 66.64 they wanted to acquire. They have acquired 67%. So these are the communication has to go to the investing community at large. So this is an open offer. Have we come back to my old document? Are you able to see screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
SEBI guidelines we read, and there are many details. So all this, see, it took for SEBI to prepare the document 2.5 to 3 years, virtually more than 4 years. So I will show you a very interesting thing as a researcher and professors, steps we should know. This will help us to make our teaching good. So open offer key process. Now in this case, Larsen Toubro was going to acquire Mindtree. So before all these things happen, in the process part, Larsen Toubro has to appoint a SEBI registered merchant banker, right? SEBI registered merchant banker. You have to appoint that. That merchant banker will make the public announcement. So first is appointment of a merchant banker, right? Then, in case of agreeing to acquire shares or voting rights or control over the target company, they have to trigger the open offer. The merchant banker has to make the public announcement, is generally required to be made on the same day or so agreeing to acquire the shares or voting rights or control. So merchant banker has to make the announcement the day it has been appointed, same day they can announce, right? And in the case of market purchase, the public announcement should be made prior to the placement of purchase order. So if you say I am going to purchase from the market, then the announcement has to be before that. You cannot buy and then make an announcement, no? So that is following by the SEBI rules. That now once that has been done, the detailed public statement, the public announcements required to be published in all editions of one English and one Hindi national daily with a wide circulation. So what happens? National daily, you can go for Times of India, Hindustan Times, Hindu, right? So these are perceived to be national daily in English, and Hindi you have again Hindustan, you have Navabharat Times and all Jagaran also. Now, if the registered office of the company is in a place, suppose the registered office of the company is in Bardhaman or in Kolkata, then a advertisement has to be made in the local language. So a advertisement has to be made in the local language also, right? So and in one regional daily. So national daily and one regional daily. So in case of Kolkata, it is bound to be, there is a famous paper in Kolkata, Anandabajar Patrika, and it is a regional paper, so it has to be published there. Simultaneously, this public announcement and details will be sent to the stock exchange where the stock is listed, right? And a detailed public statement has to go to SEBI. So this is how the procedural things. Contents, we have seen the contents, offer size, conditions and all this. Then filing of letter with SEBI within 5 working days of the DPS, right? Then the provision of escrow. Suppose you are planning to buy 100 shares whose value is 100 rupees. So value is 10,000. So first 25% you have to keep some money separately and the balance. So it says that on first 500 crore of rupees, 25% of the consideration and an additional amount to be 10% of the balance. So if my total deal is 10,000 crore, suppose 10,000 crore is the total deal. So on the first 500 crore, 25%, so 125 crore. And on the 9,500 crore, 10% of the balance, 950 crore. So 950 crore plus 125 crore has to be kept in escrow. What is escrow? Escrow is the bank account where you have to keep that money, which is the evidence that you are going to buy and have a financial power, right? So along with this filing, we have to draft letter of offer and other conditions. Now see a chart. I am showing you a chart which helps us to keep this in mind. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I am compressing it a bit and then I will expand it. Look at the screen. Na charge. Na khachi. So
Hello, sir. Hello.
So it has become smaller. I am increasing it. The open offer time frame is generally 57 days. And how the 57 days is that public announcement day 1, opening escrow account next 2 days. Then DPS to be published within the next 5 days. Draft letter of offer to be submitted to stock exchange in the next 10 days. Comments from SEBI. SEBI will give an comments on the draft letter. So another 25 days. Then identified days, 27 days. Then dispatch letter of offer to the shareholders within 32 days. Comment on the independent directors of the target company. Their opinion comes here within 35 days. Advertisement commencement tendering period 36 days. And then offer opens on 37th day. Offer 10 days is given, closes on 47th day. So this is the tender offer period. Then payment to be made to the shareholders within 10 days. So this chart, if we look at when it is shown, it gives a good impression to the students that they're able to remember it. And in an MDP program also, you can also explain this. Now, we talked about Larsen Toubro, we talked about Mindtree. Then I want to talk about a case of Kotak Mahindra. You know that Kotak Mahindra has acquired or purchased a company or merged with the company known as ING Vaisya. ING Vaisya. Now, Kotak Mahindra acquired this company and merged it with them. What was the synergy of this merger? All merger will have some synergy. So in this case, the synergy was Kotak Mahindra was under pressure from Reserve Bank of India that you cannot have so much of stake in the bank. It is very risky for a bank promoter to have a high stake in the bank. You must dilute the stake. So Kotak Mahindra was looking for an opportunity to acquire a company, acquire a bank which fits to its growth, you can say, trajectory. So Kotak Mahindra found an opportunity. What is the opportunity? ING Vaisya made huge loss in, not Vaisya, ING as a European company, European bank, made huge loss in global meltdown. So ING was looking for an opportunity to sell the Indian stake and make some money out of it. So see the synergy here. Kotak Bank is very strongly present in western part of India, that is Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, partly in Delhi and Rajasthan, and some part in UP. There are branches in the metropolitan cities. But Kotak Mahindra did not have a strong presence in southern India. And ING Vaisya has a strong presence in all the 4 states of South India. So Kotak Mahindra thought it's an opportunity to acquire the ING Vaisya, and what happens that it will dilute its stake, and also will have a control because it is merging, it will be main shareholder, and ING wanted to sell their stake, so ING India will have a lesser stake into this company. So Kotak Mahindra did that. And if you see now the growth story of Kotak Mahindra after ING Vaisya, let us look at this. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's fully
So,
visible.
story part I have said. Now you see the growth part of ING and Kotak Mahindra merger. So 2015, on this time, it has acquired. So when around 650 or 660 banks got added to Kotak Mahindra in 1 year, you can see the effect on the. In any case, Kotak Mahindra is a good bank and very professionally run. The book value of share was 143, increased to 181, and by 2021, it is 426. But look at the market cap of the company. And what was the deal? The deal was ING Vaishya shareholders will receive 725 shares in Kotak for 1000 shares in ING Vaishya. Right? There was some resistance initially. Some shareholders felt it is low, rate is low, but fine, it worked well. And the company's integration, when it took place, you can see that the Kotak Mahindra Bank claimed integration of business created an interplay of addition and multiplication. Adding presence multiplied reach, adding capacities multiplied capabilities, adding competencies multiplied skills, and adding experience multiplied expertise. So this is how the synergy worked for this company. And what were the synergies? Distribution synergies, rationalization synergies, new customer synergies, and productivity synergies of this branch. So Kotak Mahindra, if you look at, this is the post takeover numbers. Deposits has gone up from 74,000 to 2,80,000. So this is 15, 16, 17, 20, 21. 18, 19 I have not given, there is no space. If you see advances, company has advanced quite a good money. And if you look at the net interest income of the bank, if you look at the net interest income of the bank, 2015 was 4,224, increased to 15,340. So this is the growth of total assets and the deposits and investments. So we have seen now the Airtel had some problems, Tata faced 10 years problems, then we find the Larsen Toubro is hostile takeover. We have found the Kotak Mahindra's takeover. In Kotak Mahindra case, very interestingly, the open offer was not given, right? You are taking over a company, but open offer was not given. So the question came up, is it a violation of SEBI guidelines? The answer is no, because Kotak Mahindra and the ING Vaishya merger doesn't come within the purview of SEBI. Why it is so? Because Section 2D, not Section 2D, you can say this Schedule 2D, 10D of the SEBI guidelines says that if an Indian company is getting merged with an Indian company of the similar business, whether at the instruction of the authority, either in terms of merger, acquisition, restructuring, then it need not follow the open offer process if Indian company is getting merged with Indian company. So here ING Vaishya was an Indian company getting merged with this thing. Kotak Mahindra is a Indian company, and Kotak Mahindra did not buy the assets of the company. It got merged. When it got merged, it adheres to the SEBI guidelines. Moreover, both are banking agency or institution. Thereby, banking agencies institution is to be guided by Banking Regulation Act, not SEBI guidelines. Then the question comes, is Kotak Mahindra, after taking over or after merging ING Vaishya, is it becoming part of the bigger organization, monopolistic? So Competition Commission studied that and found no, it is not creating a monopoly situation. Then in the picture comes Foreign Institutional Promotion Board, or you can say Foreign Investments Promotion Board. Why? Because here in the ING Vaishya, there was ING Europe has a stake. So there is a foreign company involved. So FIPB's approval was required. So except SEBI, it required approval of RBI, it required approval of CCI, it required approval of Foreign Investment Promotion Board, and it was under the SEBI guidelines. Thereby, all sorts of SEBI guidelines, open offer, and all this was not applied in this case. Now, as a professor of the subject, how we should prepare for this type of subject teaching. One is to look at textbook, but the students community today are not happy with the textbooks alone. If you are really talking to students, many students say to us, and with a long experience of teaching, I feel very surprised. They said, business school or universities will have good professors, undoubtedly. So if there is a teaching which is taking place inside the class, which is available in the book, there is no point in attending class, right? So there is a constant pressure on the professors in this country that how to update and upgrade our current knowledge to be delivering best of the teaching. So those who will be interested on this subject may please consult the publications of Nishith Desai and Associates, known as NDA publications. It is not a book company, it's a law company worldwide, but it does a very strong work in the area of merger acquisition. I can share with you some document I can show you. You can take a look at that. So this is the type of document. If we study and consult, they have done a good job here. You will get 3 cases here: Kotak Bank and the Kian and Vedanta Reliance paper above. Let us look at what is the type of document they prepare and how does it help us. So this is a, are you able to see this?
Yes, sir.
So in this case, they have given you glossary terms, details of the deal, overview of the banking and MA, commercial considerations, and then legal and regulatory considerations, tax considerations. And the way they present it, it is very attractive to read. So this is what is the deal snapshot. Kotak Mahindra Bank transferee, and transferor is ING. Kotak has a holding of 40, ING Baisha has a 42.51, post merger promoter group is 33, public shareholding increased. So in a pictorial form, it shows that this was the original scenario. Kotak was holding 40 and ING was 42.51. Then post merger, Kotak share comes down to 33, ING 6, so 39.40, public gets bigger holding, right? So this helps us to understand it and knowing the cases well, and it makes us more, equipped with the teaching part. And also we can look at the research, because class becomes a very research oriented class. So we looked at the cases of Airtel, Tata Steel, and there is one more, Larsen Toubro, and we looked at the Kotak Mahindra, and you see that one more, yeah. So when the Tata took over the Land Rover and Jaguar, and the company thought that they will make a huge change. Certainly, its share increased, its revenue gone up. So I wrote a case here also on Tata Motors at Crossroads, where it has happened. These are all published in the Europe as a case center. So in this case, you can see that so the Tata Motors numbers, if you look at that, while this is a consolidated number, it has gone up, but the profit part did not go up. So for a long time, Tata Motors share prices remained quite low, and still the company is in a really under pressure. And last 2-3 years, it is not doing well. And Indian experience on the merger acquisition is growing, massively growing. And we have to see all these companies, how they are doing it, but we have to allow 4-5 years time to settle before that. So with this, I stop here, and thank you for kindly listening to my talk. And we will meet in the post-lunch on the project finance. That's another newer area is emerging in this country in the world of teaching and research and industry financing. Thank you, Dr. Mukhopadhyay, for giving me an opportunity to talk here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's our pleasure. And sir, I must appreciate that we come across these things, as you said, that students don't love textbooks nowadays. We also, as teachers, don't love those traditional textbooks. So as you presented these pictorially and fantastically, you have developed, sir. I have gone through the SEBI documents or the textbook materials, but they were really stressful to focus on.
Yeah,
But
SEBI document is difficult, very difficult.
Exactly.
You cannot make it easy.
Exactly, sir. And even in the textbooks, they just copy and paste from there. So that's hardly useful for us while preparing for the class. So things like this and the idea that something like this can be developed, sir. Hats off to you. These are the things that we get from experienced resource persons like you, sir. Thank you so much. And sir, can we have 1 or 2 questions? Just if
Yes,
anyone,
yes. I'm here, please.
respected participants, if any one of you have any question, we can take maximum 2 questions for Professor Chakrabarti. Because sir has the next session, so sir also needs to take some rest in between. Or else, sir, with your permission, I can share your email ID with them, so that if they later on have any query, they can access you through email.
I'm always available. As you
sir.
have told me, you are from the same university, so we should be accessible. Only thing I feel, it should not be taxing, no? It was not a taxing type.
Exactly.
I wanted to make it...
Yeah, sir, Dr. Jigar Rupani has written in the chat box.
Dr. Rupani, thank you. But I was trying to make it simple, because if you look at the legal document of SEBI, it is so tough.
Exactly.
Section by section, it is so tough.
And sir, I must admit, you have managed to make it really very simple for us.
Good afternoon, sir. I am Dr. Bharati from Hyderabad. Sir, I have attended the whole session and I have received very good input regarding mergers and acquisitions. Sir, the recent mergers that has been taking place in banking sector, I would like to know how it is having the good output, what is expected by the government.
I could not get the question, ma'am.
So the recent mergers and acquisitions happened in nationalized banks. How it is having its results? What like is it according to the expectations of the government or not?
See, let me put my effort this way. I am also working in the banking sector and research for last 20 years, right?
Mm, mm,
Now, if you look at the merger of first that Bank of Baroda with Vijaya Bank and Andhra Bank,
mm,
Vijaya Bank and Andhra Bank, that was not a very proper thing done by the government. Number one, I have a write up on that also. See, there this was Bank of Baroda, Dena Bank, and Vijaya Bank. So Dena Bank was the victim of the whole show because on the basis of the stock price, they were given to Bank of Baroda. But Bank of Baroda itself was having a high NPA. So that did not work so far till 2021. If you are looking at Corporation Bank, Allahabad Bank, and Union Bank, we have to look into that aspect. See, banking has a problem that is not appreciated by the government from the research point of view. It is like electricity problem. Electricity in this country is not distributed evenly. Electricity, though people are getting more compared to earlier years, as of now, we are losing every year nearly 1 lakh crore in electricity sector. So banking sector, this is not the solution the way government thinks. Unfortunately, government thinks what they are doing is right, and the other people what they think are not right. That's the problem. Banking should be seen in a very different way, and that is what government has to think. I think the professors, researchers, writing and documentation may guide government. In the
exactly, sir.
post-grant we have infrastructure financing. There, I will talk about infrastructure, but let me put in the banking.
Mm.
The
Thank you,
government
sir.
is giving more stress on recapitalization of the banks. But if you do the recapitalization of the banks, the same appraisal skill and same lending skill remains with the bank. So it again goes to the down the drain. As of now, our NPA works out to be 9 lakh crore. NPA, 9 lakh crore. And it is adding around 50 to 60,000 crore every year. So our whole appraisal system of the banking loan needs to be relooked. As of now, the fashion is credit scoring, but credit scoring alone cannot handle. If we have some of the private banks doing well and majority of the public sector banks are not doing well, government needs to look into that aspect. That where is the difference in the private sector with the public sector? It's a different discussion altogether, ma'am. So you will have my email, so we can have discussions and exchange of papers on that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, sir.
Mahajan, any question for me?
Yeah, sir, I was about to ask, but looking towards the time limit, I was restricting myself. But since you have taken, sir, what's your take on SBI? Means all the subsidiaries are being put into one basket, and it has become larger than any other comparable one. So how it is going to do with your perception? I would like to know.
See, being a academic person, you only look at the market price of the share of the company. That will show you what public feel about the company.
Okay.
Because it may be big giant, it may still have a newer generation of employees. Young people deliver you faster, but the problem arises that how to reskill, retrain, reorient people. That part is missing. And till you do that, people will not have better service or better perception. I do not maintain any bank account with SBI.
I got the answer.
Sir, that's the lesson for the
So
session.
no. See, I tell you, professors. See, I have taught in many parts of the world and many institutions in the country. Somehow I feel the Indian professors do a very hard job, and they know a lot of things. And if they are given opportunity, they can do a lot of things. But the system is such, we are all confined to teaching and producing papers.
Exactly, sir.
Because I have taught the big bosses of the Reserve Bank of India not 1 or 2 years, half a decade. So I know what the regulator does, and I know what they do. What you teach in the fundamental class of the ratio analysis is the format of RBI. You go to a bank, check those numbers, put that ratios, make a comment, matter ends. Every account is a different account. So every case is a different case. There is no time for anybody to look at. Otherwise, if you look at in Kolkata, there is an organization known as SREI. It is working for last 40 years. Suddenly, Reserve Bank finds that it is not working well. So the board is diluted and liquidated, and somebody RBI people will be monitoring that. It is 6 kilometers away, Reserve Bank office from the headquarters of SREI. So there is a physical proximity, but there is no mechanism to understand what is happening. The whole mechanism is the format of the ratio analysis of the green paper. I go and collect and say, okay, good. See the ILFS scandal. See Diwan housing. See Videocon. Do you think people did not know all these things? So we have to be more vigilant and more cautious. So Dr. Mukherjee, I stop here.
Yes,
what
sir.
time you
Yes,
need?
Sir, 2:30. Sir, 2:30. Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Sir,
Thank
one
you.
request. Sir, one request. If possible, in the next session, please take ILFS.
No. Next one is infrastructure.
It's on project finance. It is on project finance.
Yes.
We will have sir somewhere later where we will discuss about these issues.
Yeah, okay, done.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sir,
Thank you.
please share sir email ID, sir.
I will.
Please, ma'am. Yeah.
It is there in the brochure. I will send you everything after it gets over tomorrow. I will send all details to every participant.
Thank you very much, Kompally sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And for this morning's, we break for lunch, and we will come log in again from 2:20 onwards.